if we get this right, if the industry gets it right, and we get the balance much better, and I think, Sue, to your point, it's the balance not only of men and women, but actually a better balance that reflects society as a whole. What do you think is going to be the change that we'll see in the craft and the creative output that we're able to achieve if we get that correct? Sue?
That's a good question. I mean, I've seen the shift already, even it's slow and kind of methodical, but I think what it does is it brings so many more voices to the table, and it opens so many more opportunities and ideas into the mix, that ideas, craft and creativity are all kind of much richer because of it. I think alongside that, the working practice of how we actually engage with individuals, to Rosanna's earlier point, is again much richer, much more fulfilling for everybody as well. And I think that's something that inspires people to do more, create more, and deliver better creativity. So I think it's only positive. And I think having those voices in harmony and kind of diverse are kind of, it's a must, not a wish.
To my point earlier, I think it will benefit both sexes. I don't think this isn't just about women for women. I do think it is about creating a more balanced workspace for people, and I think I've learned so much from my male creative directors through the years, as much as I have from my female, and I think it is about that balance that is really important. I also think there's a huge shift, and I do think the industry is looking at itself a little bit more to consider the behaviour a bit closely. I think one of the biggest things we need to watch out for is the everyday sexism in the form of banter, and I think that is the one thing that now I've got the confidence to call out. I mean, even when I was a DD, I would still go along with some of the comments and the banter, because you want to fit in, and you want to kind of, you don't want to be kind of called out. So I do think the younger guys coming through are kind of seeing that shift as well. So hopefully a little bit more balanced, and almost we kind of get rid of all that kind of underlying banter sexism would be my wish, because I do think it is something that we do need to kind of tackle. The big ones are easier to call out, but the smaller ones, I do think it is important to kind of be aware of those. But hopefully it will only mean good things for the creative industry and craft. Women can craft as well as men can, and also bring fresh perspectives to ideas, which can only be good.
I think it means that design will have more impact, because in essence you're going to have more eyes, more perspectives to interrogate a brief, right? To interrogate a challenge. And so actually it can move beyond the stylistic, okay, fantastic aesthetic approach, which, we know it is, but really into something that's going to start changing the way we live. And I think that's why this is a really interesting moment to be in, because we know that the way we live needs to change. It has. So putting those heads on it. And I think to Sue's point, I think actually looking at problems with greater nuance, right, greater depth, is what it'll allow us to do. So taking a little bit more time at that early stage, to probably at the strategy stage, really, right, to get into it, will mean then we're going to have a greater impact later. And if we can also help to design those systems around us, and shape those new cultures, to Chloe's point, because I think there's one thing about having a system in place, but there's a lot of this happens in the in-between, and we've got to find a way to shift the mindset so that in-between, because it still has an impact, is positive.
Great. So Natasha, I'll leave you to sum up.
Okay, well, I agree with all of those points. I think you
have to do more than that.
No, I will do more than that. Don't worry. I'm just going to leave it at that. I think the micro moments, the in-between moments, are a really, really good point. And I think there's the one step about not being complicit in them and calling them out. Not just from us, but from everybody. And I think that's really, really important. But I think there's positive action that we can take as well, sort of micro inclusions, to make sure that we are making sure that equality is there at all points. My so one example of that is demonstrably using inclusive language and pronouns. And it really changes your outlook and your perceptions, and to Sue's point, teams and cultures, it will make them happier. And it is incredible how those little differences can change your perception. For example, my husband, when he's reading our child books, he uses the default pronoun she or her, as opposed to he or him, and all books generally are he or him, or you see an animal, it's he or him. And it's amazing how that changes your perception and your preconceptions. And I think if we can do that kind of thing positively in our workplaces at every little moment, those in-between moments, we'll have better teams, we'll have happier cultures, but we'll also have better work, because diversity in general is about appealing to and connecting with wider audiences, not just the norm. And I truly believe that will get us past problems like blanding and get us to really creative and disruptive solutions. And that's what we all want. We want to push ourselves forwards, not just maintain the status quo.